Okay. So, okay, it's been 7 seconds. As usual, StreamYard does not let me do the way I want them to do. So, um, Big Boy Sports is back for the second interview of 2025. I have the GM of the Duluth Harbor Monsters on, Mr. Steve Walters. Again, how are you doing tonight? I know we kind of, got in a little bit late. We were supposed to be joined by head coach Tony O'Neill, but he appeared on another show last night. So, if he is running a little late, it is what it is. I'm just gonna, he'll hop in, if he gets a chance to hop in. So
Yeah,
again, how are you doing
perfect.
tonight, Steve?
I'm doing real good. Thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem, no problem at all. I guess my first question is about that very partnership that you guys have now with Wheeling.
Sure.
How did that come about? What are the logistics that came into it? How is this going to work? I mean, we know how this works, but you know, I'm
Sure.
talking to the casual fan here.
I hear you. That's a great question because it's a pretty exciting partnership that we have. So, how this all came about is we have an amazing lead scout and player recruitment personnel. His name is Ben McToy. He also is the lead scout for the Wheeling Miners as well.
Mm.
Last year, about halfway through our season, we switched up stuff pretty drastically. Before halfway through our season, but we switched up some stuff personnel wise, player wise. We reached out to Ben. Ben had the solution. He had the players. We were able to get him in, and then we were able to kind of just slaughter from that point forward for the rest of our season. And this was actually Ben's idea, and I really love the fact that we went forward with this whole entire partnership concept. So the main kind of crux of the issue, how this even happened in the first place, is the NAL had an issue with the idea that their players be playing in our league. So who are they signing with? Are they signing with you, or are they signing with you? What team are these players really on? So we just kind of wanted to clarify to the NAL that they are in your league during your season. And then as soon as your season is done, and whether you guys go to the postseason, championship, whatever it is, then they come over and then they're gonna play for me. Simple as that. They're awesome players. They're gonna succeed in both both leagues with both teams. They won the championship last year. Now, back to back in both leagues. Hopefully, we do it again this year with them again. They're superstars. We're so proud of them, and they're just awesome.
Yeah, because the NAL season, starts a little bit about a couple months earlier than you guys do. Y'all start the last weekend of May.
Yeah.
Uh, NAL starts early March. Even February with all the preseason games and stuff like that. So I think personally, I think this partnership is a fantastic. I already said something on IG about it and how fantastic this is because you know, there's always an opportunity for somebody to play somewhere. And,
Right.
you know, when these players, are given the opportunity to do what they need to be doing, which is being on the field, I mean, it's just wonderful to see. There's been times where there have been players that have been denied the opportunity to be on the field. It's not just like, oh well, we can't just let you do this or do that. We got to go through all these different loopholes and stuff like that. So the seamlessness, because the TAL starts later, and the NAL starts a little bit earlier, ends like the end of May,
Hmm.
playoffs in June.
Hmm.
That type of partnership is one of those things that I think can be a long-term type thing. I think this could be a long-term type thing. I'm
Right.
praying and hoping for that, for the success of that.
Right. I mean,
Really, I
because
really truly am, because we fight the 50-yard fight every single day. You know,
Mhm.
I mean, there have been times where I've seen players, I've had players, ask me sometimes, like, hey, what do you need to do to get this next opportunity? What kind of next opportunity am I going to get? Because I don't know where it's going to come from. And it's like my answer, is like, just look out there. There's something out there for everybody. And again, I think this partnership is going to do wonders. I really do. And I'm excited to see what you guys continue to do and what Wheeling continues to do to promote this partnership. I'm really glad for it, to be quite honest with you. So one of my biggest questions, we talked, I was at work, last year. We talked for the first time on the phone. I think it was like 10:30 in the morning, and I had reached out to you, um, and you had answered, with the best voice that you could possibly, the most professional voice you could possibly put out there, and I was excited because you guys have been rocking it, as far as social media goes and everything like that. You guys are the gold standard in the TL right now. You guys are really the gold standard, and I really like that. I really do.
Well, I appreciate that. That does mean a lot. I mean, I try to hold us to a very high standard. Everything when it comes to our social media, to our in arena experience, the broadcast, everything. I have. I want this to be good. I want this to be professional. I want Duluth to be proud of this team. So when I do anything, that's how I look at it. When we were going into season one, I mean, all we were was a logo and a dream. Nobody knew who we were. I know that when they think of the Harbor Monsters or arena football in general, they're automatically going to assume that is a lesser version of football. When in reality, it's a more exciting version of football than what you're used to. Everything that you like about traditional football, everything that you know about traditional football, this is ramped up to 11. Instead of being 24 points to win a game, it's 80 points to win a game. If you are sick of people tiptoeing out of bounds, don't worry, there's no out of bounds. They're going to get slammed into the boards, they're going to get put over the boards. It's just a wild and awesome time. And then whenever there is a gap in play, we're out there launching T-shirts into the audience, little mini footballs in the audience, having fun game breaks, a concert at every single halftime. Like we wanted, and I wanted this to be a whole entire experience from the moment the Harbor Monster comes flying out of the smoke in the tunnel to the moment we blow the game dead at the end. This needed to be a full, amazing, engaging experience for these fans. So on average, last season we had about 2,300 people in our arena. We had a significantly larger audience outside of the arena, which I never expected. I was using our broadcast honestly as advertising, partnering up with all of our different bar and restaurant partners all over town. I knew that it would be foolish to not have us on these TVs. that's just
Absolutely.
that's just free advertising for the Harbor Monsters, creating FOMO for everybody who goes and sits down at any one of our bar and restaurant partners. It's got us up on the TV up here. They don't maybe know that we even exist. Well, now they do. Now they can see what's kind of going on. So we were broadcast online, on TV, and on the radio all at the same time. And just on YouTube alone, we had over 8,500 views per game. So that's a significant larger audience outside of the arena than we had in. I went to Ace Hardware the other day, and I had my logo T-shirt on, or my not T-shirt, polo on. And the gentleman said, "Do you work for the Harbor Monsters?" I said, "Yeah, yeah, I do." He said, "I didn't make it to any games, but I had your game. I watched every single one of your games. I had it on my phone propped up right here, right next to the register, and I watched every single one of your games, even though I was working." I said, "Well, thank you. I really appreciate it. It means that you were one of the 8,000 fans that watched us during those games. So thank you so much." We got an awesome fan base. We have awesome partners. Uh, you don't know going into the first season what you don't know. Now we do know. So now going into this season, we're able to prepare so much better, make this a better experience for the fans, a better experience for our partners, a better broadcast, better everything. And same when it comes to our team. Um, I know what team we had last year. We won the championship with the team we had last year. I know the team that we have this year. I don't see how we lose with the team that we have this year. Now, granted, also, every other team in the league is trying to do the same thing. They're all evolving. I have no idea what they're doing on the other teams. But me just looking at what we have and what we had last year, I feel like we do it again. But again, the Woo have a brand new coach. We got two brand new teams in the league. They got new coaches. They're recruiting from different spaces. We'll see how this goes this time.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm excited. I originally one of my original plans earlier in the cycle of me getting these interviews was to get Chris Goodman on of the Hot Springs. I
Sure.
wanted to get him on, but he hadn't responded to me, so can't can't
Well,
work
I'll
with
talk
no
to him.
response. But it's okay. It's okay.
I'll talk to him.
He
We'll get him on.
it's okay. He I told him, I said, when I was trying to get him on, I was like, whenever you feel like it, just message me back. Just message me back. Um, so maybe one day, maybe one day. So kind of to get another question in, about how did you get into this sport? How did you get into this? I mean, you might have been like a fan
Sure. Well,
at some point.
that is a great question. All right, so I'll give you some background. All right, so my background is not in sports. My background is not in arena football. I do like arena football. I watched it back in the day, and when it was a much bigger deal on NBC and stuff like that. So I watched it at that point. Really liked it a lot. Um, I always wanted. They needed a big name. They needed a big face to, I feel like, kind of make that thing go. So when Tim Tebow couldn't make a run of it in the NFL, I thought if you could just go to the arena football, then you could be the superstar of arena football, be the Brett Favre of arena football. But it is what it is. So my background is in startups, in sales and marketing, and so I was in video game companies and software companies and different marketing companies like that. Nothing to do with sports at all. I was a part of a startup called Facetto. It was going to be the new Apple. We were going to make all these amazing products that were going to change the world. And then COVID hit, and our product was specifically made for business meetings that were in person. So that kind of shut everything down. Nobody knew what was going to happen. We all assumed it was the end of the world kind of thing. And apparently, our boss thought it was the end of our business. So he let every single person go in the company.
Yeah.
I assumed that I was immune to that. I was not immune. I went down with it as well. So then, we're at the beginning of COVID. Nobody really knows what's happening at that point. I got a job at a radio company. Um, my wife, who worked with me at the software company, I got her a job at the radio company. She was the morning host at My 95.7, the local station here, or one of the local stations here. And I wanted a new gig. I wanted something else entirely. I left. I left the radio, and then was still looking for something that was going to be the thing that I wanted to do, if that makes sense. It's one thing to I thought I knew what I wanted to do when I was in the whole entire software industry. I knew we were rubbing shoulders with Microsoft and Samsung. I knew what I was going to do for the rest of my life. That was it. Um, so this opportunity came up because the league was going around to all the different towns and speaking with these, like for instance Duluth. When they went to Duluth, they went on every single morning show, whether it's TV, radio, or anything else. So they went on my wife's morning show. While they were on her morning show off air, they were talking about and that's Tim Brown as well as other league officials. They were talking about the league, how, and this team specifically, how they don't have a name yet, they don't have a GM yet, they don't have a coach yet, nothing like that. And my wife gave me a phone call immediately afterwards and said, "Hey, Tim Brown was in my it was in my studio. That's Do you know who Tim Brown is?" And she's like, "Yeah, I know who Tim Brown is." I was like, "Okay, all right, cool." So after that, she said they're looking for a general manager to run the team. You should put your hat in the ring. And I was like, "I'm pretty sure they're looking for somebody who's run a sports team before." She said, "No, they're looking for somebody with marketing experience, with sales experience, with management and running a startup. This is just another startup. You've done this over and over again. You can do this." I was like, "All right, well, the worst that could happen is I'll put in my resume and they don't respond to it. Who cares? I might as well put it in." So I put in my resume. 2 hours later, I got a phone call from a gentleman named Tommy Benizio. And anyone who's in arena football right now probably knows Tommy Benizio's name.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah. So he gave me a call and said, "Can you jump on a Zoom meeting with us?" I said, "Yeah, I can do that." So I told my wife I got a Zoom meeting coming up. She said, "Put on a suit jacket. The guy who you're talking to, he likes his suits." And I said, "All right, I can do that too." So I threw on a suit jacket. By the end of that Zoom call, I didn't know it at the time, but Tommy had told the owner, "He's the guy. We're going to go with him. He's the one." Um, so that's how I got into this business. And a lot of my knowledge from those past gigs translated fairly easy over to this. We knew how to run events because we did all sorts of different trade shows all different times, and we went to different events left and right. I had been in sales for a good while. I was not nearly the sales expert that I am now. At the time, I thought I was good at sales. Really, what it is I just liked hearing myself talk. So I was in all these trade shows all the time, trying to demonstrate our product, talk about our product, which of course means you're talking the whole entire time about this product. Whereas here, so Tommy, he is an expert salesman. And one thing that finally clicked with me when, to help kind of evolve everything is it wasn't just you need to listen to what the person you're talking to, but more specifically, you need to listen because you need to find out what they want, what they like, what they've done in the past. And then you have all of these different options. If they like radio, you got TV, you got all these different broadcast options. If they like billboards, if that billboards have worked for them in the past, your whole entire wall, you got, you know, stagnant advertising everywhere. You got banners here and, dasher boards there. If they are going to trade shows and they say, "I don't do any kind of advertising." Okay, do you guys do trade shows? Yeah, we do trade shows. Okay, well, great. We can put a booth right here, just like you would in a trade show, and we got thousands of people that are gonna be walking right by your booth, just like in a trade show. So it's once you know what they want, then you just give them what they want and just sell that partnership with them, and then make sure it's an actual partnership. You're not just trying to sell a sponsorship. You're not trying to get somebody's name and just throw it in the outfield for $3,000 or whatever. You want an actual partnership with them, something that works for them, that actually benefits them. um, I throw in free stuff all the time because I just want to be a better partner. You know what could work better yet? Have you guys ever done broadcast advertising? Well, let's try that. Let's see what happens. The worst that can happen is maybe you don't get a phone call. The best thing that happens is you get a phone call because they saw your name out there and on one of our broadcasts. Let's just try it, see what happens. I love our partners. I think they're awesome, and I'm glad to have them. That's for sure.
Yeah, I was definitely going to ask you because I believe y'all have some new partners, if I'm not mistaken, that y'all just announced over the past couple of days and stuff like that. I've been seeing.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of partners, I mean, I'm sorry to rant a little bit about this as well. So obviously, our players are, professional players. They get paid. We also, but they're not getting NFL money. Obviously, we're not paying them. $40 million to play for the Duluth Harbor Monsters. But we do feed them throughout the entire season. We do house them throughout the entire season. We also have a whole entire list of all sorts of different other things that we provide for them. We have partners, different spa partners and different massage partners and different like IV partners to help with the recovery after every single game, as well as a bunch of other different things to try to make this a better experience for them. Because it's one thing, let's say we're both offering the same amount of money, myself and like the Corpus Christi Tritons or something like that. Well, here we're able to say, well, we got the money, but we also have this, and this. You know what I mean? So why not come play for the Harbor Monsters instead? Also helps that we have the big trophy too. That's, you know, right now it's a lot more easy for that way. But we also have professional cheerleaders, and they actually do get NFL money. In fact, they get more than the NFL, as
Well,
well
that's a
as,
surprise to me.
yeah. Well, it's a little bit easier than you would think. So, fun fact: the Minnesota Vikings, and the reason why we know this is because we have Minnesota Vikings on our cheer team, is they pay them only $70 or $75 per game, and then they've got no perks beyond that. It's your perk is that you are a Minnesota Vikings cheerleader, and then so now you, since you have that status, can go out and maybe make a partnership with Lululemon or whatever else. Whereas here, I took that upon myself to make this. I'm already doing this for the guys. I can do this for the girls as well. What do you need? So in me communicating with our cheer coaches, and they said, well, we need a salon. We need a tanning partner. We need nails. We need eyelashes. We need all this different stuff. So I went out and, to be honest, they were the easiest partners in the world to find. I called, 5 different salons. All 5 gave me a call back immediately, and I said, I already got one. I appreciate it, guys. So we got, the official salon of the Harbor Monsters, the official makeup company of the, Harbor, the cheerleaders and so on, and they love it. Some of our best partners last year. Oh, sorry, my light keeps going out. Sorry. So some of our best partners and the biggest fans last year were people that I would never even reached out to in the past. So we have a makeup company. I would have never reached out to a makeup company, but as soon as we had these cheerleaders out here, they love being a part of the Harbor Monsters. Her name is. It doesn't matter what her name is, but she's one of our biggest advocates. She tells everybody under the sun, I don't like football. I don't like watching football. I don't want to go to football games, but the Harbor Monsters are the best experience in the world. You've got to go watch the Harbor Monsters. And she's been a major advocate for us, and she's just a makeup company. It's a partner I would have never even thought of, that's for sure.
Mhm. Yeah, and that's great. I mean, I didn't, I never heard of this before of, like, NFL cheerleaders getting paid, like
They get paid
that kind
next
of
to
money.
nothing.
Like
Yeah,
I've
yeah,
never,
yeah.
I thought they would get paid more. I really did, but I
No,
guess.
I think everybody assumes that because it's the NFL. Everybody's making tons of money. The general managers, the coaches, everybody's in the staff is making gobs of money. But clearly, the cheerleaders are just an afterthought. Whereas you know, we love our cheerleaders. They're professional cheerleaders. They do stunting, so it's not just like. Whereas in the NFL, most cheerleaders are just like dancers. They're not doing stunts like in college. So we do. And the reason why I wanted that specifically is because that's the whole entire experience that I wanted for the fans. It's something that's above and beyond. So we're gonna do cheerleaders. I don't want just dancers. I want you guys flying in the air. When it comes to our Harbor Monster, I don't want them just running around. I want them on the back of a side by side, going Mach 10 down the sideline. Shooting T-shirts into the audience with the T-shirt cannon. So we have such a fun time. It is. That's what it is. It's just a fun time from the beginning to the end.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I'm telling you, last year, watching you guys, watching the other 3 teams play, it was amazing. It was amazing. Not everything was perfect, but I mean, nothing is perfect, but everything
Yeah.
was amazing though. Everything was absolutely amazing. And, like making it through the first year, Boom.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
you
You,
guys
you
did
know,
it. You all did it.
right. That was the. I didn't really think about it until it was after the championship, but it was the day after the championship, like after I woke up, that that thought finally hit me. It was like, you made it. You made it all the way through. We didn't miss any games. Every single team in the league made it all the way through. We had great audiences. We had a great broadcast. I mean, not every broadcast was great, but we had our hiccups, and we learned from that first season. I remember I was standing out with Brent, the owner, on I think it was the very first game in the middle of the field, and he said, "Look at us, two kids who have no idea what we're doing, but we did this." And I was like, "We did it. We did it."
Yeah. Yeah, y'all did do it. And aside from winning another championship this year, what do you guys think? Well, rather, what is your biggest goals of the season aside from winning another title? I made specific. I made a specific question about this. So
Sure. So I'm the general manager, so I think about this differently than what how Tony would think about it, how the players would think about it. So the players obviously they want to win. They want to be MVP. They want the glory, the attention, the accolades that come with that. As the general manager, I think about it from a different perspective. It's more about the fans. It's more about the longevity of this brand, of the team. So our arena holds 5,000 people. On average, we only had about 2,300 people in that arena. That means we're less than halfway full. So my goal is I want a sold out game or the whole entire sold out season. That's what I want. I want this place full. I want it loud. I want when I we're already a pretty big deal here in town, so I'm pretty proud of that. But at the same time, I want everybody to know who the Harbor Monsters. It pisses me off whenever I go in somewhere and I say I'm Steve Walters, general manager of the Duluth Harbor Monsters, and they don't know who the fuck I am. So I want to make sure that wherever I go, everybody knows who the Harbor Monsters are. The mayor knows who I am. How come you don't know who I
I I, I get that. I really
am?
do. Sometimes it's like, oh yeah, you're Big Boy Sports.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I am. But like, you didn't notice before. Like
Mhm.
sometimes people just don't notice that I'm doing my thing. But it is what it is with that. Well, since you guys are moving, I believe y'all are moving to 7-on-7 this year, right?
Yes. Yes, we are.
Yeah. So how's that? Kind of. Well, I know you don't really have much to do with that, but hey, how do you feel about that?
I like it. I personally like it quite a bit. That's how I uh, originally wanted it to be. I think Brent, the owner, and I, when we were going into the first season, just numbers wise, when you're looking at mentally picturing out the layout of you got your center, you got your quarterback, you got your two, just mentally when trying to picture it all out, you assume it's seven. So then when it turned to six, it's like, okay, all right. I guess we're missing a guy. But what we just mentally when you're trying to picture out how the layout would be. So I personally like this a lot more. Uh, I thought we had a great product last year. It was a fun product. It was exciting. Having that 20-second play clock kept the game at a very, very high pace. It kept the scores real high. So all I care about and cared about when they decided to make this change is I don't care if we're adding one more player. I like that, to be honest, for multiple different reasons. All I do care about is that the product still stays fun, still stays fast, still stays high scoring, still stays exciting. So as long as it stays that way, great. That's just, yeah, seven is better. I like seven.
Yeah, I got you. I got you. Because I mean, they're look, I'll just be real. 6-man football. I know it's a thing. Where I live at, it's a thing in Texas. It's a thing in Texas. But I didn't see it until last year. I didn't see what 6-man football would look like until
Sure.
last year, and I was like, "This is different. I like
Hmm.
it, but it's different."
Hmm. Yeah.
So I was like, I'll just keep watching and see how it goes. And eventually I was just like, yeah, this is good.
Yeah.
um,
So
do you I can't speak. Do you think the TAL will take off and grow even bigger over the next few years? Like, are we
yes,
seeing even
absolutely,
any more expansions coming? I know we're
absolutely.
probably going to see any more expansions coming, but you know,
Yes, yeah. I mean, there's no doubt. With So a couple different things. I'm not gonna try to overstep what I talk about because I know the league wants to
yeah,
release
yeah,
different
don't
information,
do
but just
that.
but but just to try to stay maybe a little bit lower level. Yes, we are going to be expanding. We've already expanded from 4 to 6. Next year we plan to expand more. I don't want to go into too much detail about that, but we are already. The league is already planning on expanding. We know that that's going to happen. Um, and then also the league seeing at how good our broadcast reception was, how many people watched our games, they want to push more in that direction. My job is still to make sure that the in arena experience is top tier. They want, though, to make this more nationally branded, more broadcast friendly, more professional, having more talking heads, more content out there so that it's a better broadcast and viewing experience from the outside. So I know that we'll be going in that direction as well.
Okay, gotcha. So eventual TV deals, something like
Yeah,
that, like a streaming
exactly.
deal or something like that, or maybe
Exactly.
even. Well, I don't know about a TL streaming service, but I mean that could be a possibility. I don't know.
Again, I'm not going to step in front of anybody. They know what they're doing at the league level, and
Say nothing. I didn't
we're
say
yeah
nothing.
we're all excited to see what they do.
Whatever they put out, whatever the guys put out, whatever you and the guys put out, I'm be all in. I'm gonna be excited either way.
It'll be an awesome time.
Um, what was like the hardest part of that first year?
Oh boy, the hardest part, um, not having multiple clones of myself. I put too much on. I didn't have good work life balance that first year. Going into it, right before the season, I thought mentally I knew what was going to happen, uh, and I had no idea. It was full throttle from before that game all the way through the championship game. Um, I remember I kept telling my wife, as soon as we get past this first game, I'll be able to focus more on the family. I'll be able to um, be there, if that makes sense. And I didn't. I didn't realize how much time this entire season, how much this entire whole, because it's not just a team, it's a brand, it's all of the different players, all the food for all the different players, washing the jerseys, everything that comes along with having an entire brand new football team and not having the staff to truly, support it at full level. Um, So that I think was the biggest difficulty that we had, or tell you what, that I had personally. I had some incredible interns that without them we would never have been able to pull off what we did for that first season. So I'm very, very grateful for them. I'm very grateful for my wife and how much effort she put into everything. I'm very grateful for yeah, I'm very grateful for my interns. That's for sure. We would have never been able to pull off what we did without them.
Shout out to those interns.
Yeah.
They do wonders. They really do.
Mhm.
Um, Steve, where can we find you on like social media? Obviously, we can find the team on social media, but if you
Yeah.
want to shout out your social medias and the team's social medias real quick
You bet.
before we head on out.
You got it. So everything is pretty easy. It's just simply DuluthMonsters.com. That's our website. If you want to find us on any one of our socials, just search again just for Duluth Monsters and you'll find us, whether it's Facebook or TikTok. I don't have a ton of content on TikTok right now, but no matter what platform it is, just search for Duluth Monsters and you'll find us. All of our games, though, are on the actual league channel. So you're just going to look for the Arena League and we'll be there as well. Honestly, if you just type in Duluth Harbor Monsters, those are going to be the first things that pull up is all the games. Yeah.
Um, Season tickets, are they available yet?
Yes, they are. They're
All
available.
right,
Buy
all
them
right,
right
all
now.
right.
Yeah, get in there and experience the victory. Being a Minnesotan all my life, I have had it. Dealing with these purple guys going into the first round and dying immediately. So if you want to see some championship football, come watch the Harbor Monsters and actually enjoy yourself. Or if you're a Packer fan coming across the bridge, you guys didn't make it any further either. It's been a long time since Brett Favre has done anything. So if you want to experience some victory, come watch the Harbor Monsters dominate again.
Hey, last year I got a couple of invites to try to go to some games up in Wheeling. I did not end up going to games in Wheeling, and I also had an offer from the Texas Hotshots to go to Rockwall as well. So I didn't get that. I didn't get those opportunities last year. If I had the opportunity, I will definitely try my best to get up to Duluth. I will definitely
Got it.
do
You
that.
got it. We got some hotel partners. We'll get you a free hotel if you need that as well.
Absolutely. I'm hoping things go well for me. So yeah, I'm hoping they do. Um, Thanks so much, man, for coming on to the channel. You are amazing. You have been a great communicator with me. I mean, I really do appreciate it because this takes a lot of work from me. This takes a lot. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love doing these. I've loved doing these since I started them back last year, but sometimes they can be a little stressful. Like I said, I got back to my place like 10 minutes before, because a Popeye's order was holding me up for like 30 minutes. So,
well, no problem.
Yeah.
But thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it. Next time, we'll have some coaches on and have some players, and we'll have all sorts of other stuff and better content for you than just my ugly mug.
Absolutely. I'll be sure to reach out again as soon as I can, as soon as I can to get more from you guys, because I definitely want to see more of the stories of these players, these coaches, and everything like that in between. All right. Thank you so much.
See ya.
See ya. And that was Steve Walters of the Duluth Harbor Monsters, everybody. He's a great guest. He did everything he needed to do, and he came, he saw, he conquered. This first year for Duluth was one of the best I think I've ever seen in my entire life as an arena football fan, content creator, and quote unquote journalist. Excuse my lighting again. It's always 50-50 with the lighting. Tomorrow, I do have some thoughts on the WNBA. So if you want to see some stuff, because there's some stuff that came out over the past couple of days that I need to talk about. Sunday afternoon, we're going to have something on the NFL draft classes. I'm going to make something probably either in between games on Saturday, maybe even Friday night, and have stuff for that going. Because I do have some thoughts, and it's thoughts that you've heard probably a million times on this channel before. Again, I'm still working on getting another interview in. It was supposed to be this week, but it doesn't look like we have the time for that interview because the team has not responded. The UIFA champions, the Wisconsin Aviators, they have not responded. And I keep it transparent. I keep it 100 here. So if I'm calling you out, I mean it. You need to respond back. I do not play about, ghosting and responses. I do not like that because I want to be punctual. I want to get this done, and I want to keep moving forward to highlight other teams too, because there's a lot of teams that need to be highlighted. There's a lot of players that need to be highlighted, a lot of coaches, a lot of agents, a lot of owners, a lot of GMs. They all need to be highlighted. And again, my goal is only 6 interviews. I don't have a smorgasbord of interview goals. You know what I'm saying? I don't have a smorgasbord of goals as far as doing these, throughout the season and stuff like that. So again, unfortunately, Coach Tony O'Neill could not make it tonight. I did want him on, but ultimately he just didn't, make it on. And I know he had the Through the Wire show with Coach Rez, Jeff, and Jim, last night, which I did watch most of, and I was going to ask him pretty much the same questions, as Jim and the boys, did. Again, I think the Harbor Monsters and the Wheeling Miners doing this partnership is fantastic. Keeps these players playing, throughout the rest of the season, because again, we have a long season. The arena indoor football scene has a long season. 6 months is a long time, everybody. So again, I'm glad that Steve came on, and I'm glad that the Harbor Monsters are continuing to thrive, and they will continue to thrive if you come to their games. You have to do it. Get those season tickets, get that merch, get everything you need to get if you are in Duluth. Again, I'm 50-50 right now on going, because a lot of things have to go my way in order to do the opportunity. And you see, Steve even offered me a free hotel, which I'm glad for. My goodness. But yeah, so that's going to do it for me. Usually I don't do these post-interview outtakes, but I did today because I'm kind of tired, and I wanted to get some stuff, get some thoughts and some more things, out before, we say anything else. So from me to you, Big Boy Sports is going to sign off, and Steve has already signed off. So I will see you all tomorrow night, about 6 o'clock, 6:37, somewhere around that range, to talk the WNBA, free agency, and some more basketball stuff, NBA college and women's college. So yeah, and then the NFL on Sunday. Take care and good night.